Hey, I'm Carla, and for my next upcycling project, I am going to be refreshing the fabric on these chairs. At the corners of each one, they've gotten ripped. And you can see in the past, I did this one already with blue jeans, and I'm gonna probably do them both with blue jeans now. And also, this one has lost a lot of its oomph. And so somewhere along the road, I got this piece of foam, so I'm gonna try putting it in that one and give it a little bit more heft. This one's a little bit better. So wish me luck with this upcycling project, and hopefully you can learn along with me as I do it. Step one is to take the seat off the bottom. So I'm gonna unscrew these 4 screws. Next, I have to take out all the staples that I put in last time I redid this thing. Here we go. So now I'm in the under fabric, and you can see it's quite stained because this piece of fabric has never been replaced. And you know, an easy way out would be to just cover this up, but the corners look terrible, and I want to try to replace the foam. So I'm going in. I'm gonna take this off and hope I can get it back together. Okay, so here's an update on the chair recovering project. This was the cover on one of the chairs, and so it's a good template to fix. And you can see the places that it degraded. One was right here, and the other one was right here. And obviously the place where it was on the seam was the worst. It like actually made a giant hole. So I'm gonna try my best to avoid having a seam land on the corner of the chair. I mean, here it didn't land on a seam, and it did wear through, but it wasn't nearly as bad. So that's one strategy, is to avoid having a seam land on the corner. The other thing is I'm measuring this. So let's see, this template was about 30 inches across and about 25 inches. So when I remake it, I'll do 25 by 30. And what that means though is I don't want to have more seams. Like I'm trying to minimize the seams. And so you can see the way I've made this is by using the pant legs, which are long and skinny. And I'm trying to avoid having more this way. So I have a few more pairs of jeans I can prepare, and then I'll probably replace these pieces, but maybe I can reuse the center one that is still in pretty good shape. Okay, the other update was when I took apart the seat. This was the seat that was really squished, like it basically was collapsing in the middle. And what I realized when I took the cover off was that the piece of wood was actually cracked. I don't think you can see it that clearly here on the camera, but oh, you can sort of see it there. Right along here, there is a crack. And so I'm not going to go through this whole process and just reuse a cracked piece of wood. So the good news is I have a piece of plywood that is big enough. And you can see this, this really shows where the crack is. The foam is actually pushing down into the crack whenever people would sit on it. And so I'm going to work with my husband to cut our plywood into this shape, which is a little bit of a weird shape because it has this little sections. And then I can use the foam to remake it. So this is going to take a little bit longer. The other seat wasn't cracked, so I'm just going to work on recovering it. Next, let's talk about jeans and how to choose which sections for a seat cover. Now, knees of jeans usually have a faded section like this. And so I generally am not going to use the front of the jeans for a seat cover because that looks yucky. I will use that for a smaller project where I can just trim it off and use that section. So even though this is a nice color, I won't use this pant leg. Whereas this one, you can see it was the back of the jeans. So it hasn't got a discoloration. And I mean, this has got a little extra piece on there, but I know I need it to be at least 25 inches long, which this is. So this is going to be part of the new cover. When I'm starting with a pair of jeans, this is one of my husband's old pair of jeans, you can see the knees look rough, but if you flip over, the back of the pant leg looks fantastic. So I'm going to disassemble these jeans now and get 2 backs of legs, and combined with this and the piece I already have, I'll have enough to make my seat cover. Okay, so you can see I have made the new cover from jeans, and I've placed this on here, and my goal is to make sure that the seams do not end up in the corner. So this seam is far enough out and there's no seam here, so it should be okay. So what I do now is I try to put like a placeholder staple on each side. So I have my staple gun, and then go to the opposite side. Pull it nice and tight so that the foam is squished, but not, you know, too squished. This end is the hardest because it has these weird bumps, but as long as there's some give there, should be okay. Okay, so let's finish, go on the other side. Nice and tight. Now I can see these ones pulled it up a bit, so I'm actually going to take this one out. And just tighten this up to the same level as the other two. Okay, cool. Now we'll do the sides. Now I don't tend to tuck it under because, I mean, it would look neater, but it makes it more likely that the staple might not make it all the way through. Let's see, we might do a little bit there. Let's get a base one in, and then maybe, let's see. There is enough denim on this side that I could try to make it a little prettier. Yeah, that's okay. It seems to be going through the 2 levels. And the other side. I mean, I could trim this down, but it's fine. Ooh, nice and tight. Okay, let's take a look on the top. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Nice and tight. Cool. Looking fresh and no holes in it. Okay, so now the harder part, which is the corners. So I'm gonna just do my best to fold them under, but you know, I'm trying to have the least amount of folds because then the staple has to go through more fabric. So we'll see here. Let's try that. See if the stapler can do it. Not bad. corner looks pretty good. Okay, we'll try to do. Now this corner is really weird because it has like a fold in it. Has a like a 90-degree section. Nice thing about this repair job is if you don't like it, just take the staple out and try again. Like it's not a big deal. It's not like cutting wood where once you've cut it, you can't add back. Let's see how I'm gonna, maybe this one I'll just pull into a triangle. Cool, okay. This is another one where there's like a 90-degree cut in. Let me think about the best way to. Too thick. It's getting too thick. Okay, and our last corner. Nope. This one's a little bit short, the amount of fabric. Be careful. Nice. Cool. Woohoo! So I think what I'll do is I'll just add a few more staples and then I'll put it on the chair and see how it feels. Okay, so the first chair seat is recovered. Yay! And there's no seams at the corner, so hopefully it lasts longer. And then this weekend I'll work with my husband to finish the next chair and I'll show you how we do that. But hooray, one chair is done! Okay, so we used the old piece of wood as a template and cut the new piece there. It looks really great. And I traced to the shape of the wood on this foam. And now I'm going to take this knife, which we just changed the blade so it's nice and sharp. And I'm just gonna do my best to cut through the foam along this line. Never cut through foam, so we'll see how this goes. Ooh, it's pretty easy. Always cutting away from your hand. Okay, so that probably got about halfway through. So now I've got to get down in there a little bit deeper. I think what I will do is trace it on the other side as well and cut from the other side and see if that works. going all the way through. Good. Okay, so let's keep going in this method. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it goes almost all the way through. Just a few little bits. Ooh, that works pretty nifty. Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay, so now if we look at this, it's very 90-degree angle versus our sample here. Is curved on the edges. And what I don't know is whether just the act of pulling it makes it do that or whether I need to shave it down. And I'm gonna go with not shaving it down first and seeing if that does the trick. I think this is compressed because it's been like this for a long time, but that's what we're gonna find out when we put it together. So the next step is gonna be to take our piece of wood, and I've got some spray adhesive that I'm gonna spray, and then I'm gonna glue the foam to the wood and let it dry. Okay, what do you think? I think it's probably... Okay, so I just wanted to show you the adhesive that I used to attach the foam to the wood was this, and I just used this because we had some. So yeah, so now what's gonna happen is I'm gonna try stapling this one. That's gonna be a little bit harder than yesterday's chair because the foam is not already compressed. So it's gonna be maybe a little bit harder. So I'm gonna check and see my seams are not right at the corners. They're kind of in the middle, so that's good. I'm gonna scooch it over just a little bit. Yep, great. Okay, so I'm actually gonna start it this side. Okay, so let's get our first one in here. Really hard on this side. Ooh, yeah, I got quite a bit of fabric when I pulled there. Let's see if we can get it nice and tight here. Look and see. Well, it's not really curling down too much, but I think it'll be okay. We'll have to, if over time I decide I don't like it, if it's too 90-degree angly, I can take the cover off and shave it down. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with this experiment for now. see how it's looking. Ooh, I think it looks pretty cool. I keep getting fuzzies. Yeah, I think that looks pretty neat. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with this. I'm not gonna videotape the whole process because it's kind of boring, but I'll show you the finished. Okay, so I'm happy. I got this all stapled down, pulling all the corners. Yeah, so now I'm going to, actually, I gotta turn this upside down. And I gotta put the chair on top. Oop. There we go. Put it in. Cool. It fits. Hooray. So now I'm going to put the 4 screws in the corners to attach the chair, and it's going to be a little bit harder because this was not already pre-drilled, so we'll see how that goes. Well, it's going in very well actually. And there's not a gap. So, hooray! You can see this chair's been repaired. We keep repairing it. We love this design, even though it's a lot of work to maintain. Nice. Yeah, no gap. That's great. Okay, so the chairs are now both recovered, and I just wanted to show you the finished chairs. And one thing I noticed is that, like in this one, all of the jeans had a similar level of dye, so it looks kind of uniform. Whereas on this one, you can see this pant leg was much darker, and that's an aesthetic choice, you know, like they're both nice. It's just whatever you want to do in your house and what you have available in terms of blue jeans. So I hope this inspires you to recover some of your chairs with some recycled materials like blue jeans. And usually we have to recover our chairs like once every 4 or 5 years because we use them a lot. You know, it's good to reuse things like blue jeans. So thanks very much for watching, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.